Congrats, you've bought a Switch, you've already started your library, but maybe you want something for you and your soon-to-be teens. The E for Everybody games can be fun, but sometimes your kids want to play something that's a little bit more challenging. I'm Wes, and we've previously talked about which Switch to buy for you and your family, how to set up the parental controls, and the E for Everybody games. And now we're talking about what games you should start with for your families with tweens. Now, this is my opinion on which games are best to start your library with for your E10 Plus. This is the starting point, so if I've missed some, leave it down in the comments below. We're going to start with Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. This is probably my favorite Switch game so far of 2022, and that seems really weird, but it's a single player or a two-person co-op game that went from very, very easy to being able to challenge me at a much higher difficulty, literally within moments of each other. And my kids went through and were able to figure out how to jump from one section to the next section, how to navigate, how to use the skills, and they did so very, very well. The only thing that they really struggled with was the younger ones reading, because there's no voice acting, it's just reading all the text. This is a really good game for those that like platforming, like the little Mighty Pink Puff, and just want to have fun with a cute scenario. It does have comic mischief and fantasy violence. It was toned down quite a bit. There is, for the first time, a fear rating on it, and my oldest kid did get hit a little bit with the fear, while the other two literally laughed at that situation. So it's kind of child dependent when it comes to Kirby and the Forgotten Land on that fear rating. That being said, my family has thoroughly enjoyed Kirby, and my kids asked to play it probably 5 nights a week. Next up, we have Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's easy to look at this game and think, oh, a cute strategy clone with cute characters, but that would be wrong. First off, they gave Mario a gun. The game also treats the original genre as a jumping off point, not the end of it, adding a number of original mechanics that make the game stand apart. You can extend your turns in elaborate ways via dashing, jumping on enemies, and traveling through pipes. If you play your cards right, a single character can take a tour around the entire map in a one go, causing havoc literally everywhere. The game is also a giant love letter to all those things Mario, which is why the Rabbids, based on the popular Nintendo characters, work so well. They're parodying something that Ubisoft understands deeply. By the end of the game, you might even find yourself kicking out the original Mario characters in exchange for the Rabbids. Maybe, maybe not. Coupled with an extensive challenge mode and many a secret hiding about, Rabbids is a surprisingly meaty game. Then, of course, there's DLC that introduces more characters like Donkey Kong, more challenging levels, and new mechanics. Did I mention that Luigi's Death Stare is an actual move? This is a good match for fans of the tactical games like Fire Emblem. This is not a good match for players looking for a carbon copy of XCOM. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a monumental artistic achievement in video games. It's so creative, it's full of surprises that we'll be talking about for years to come. It is also unlike any other Zelda game before it. For years, Zelda games were defined by, no, you can't reach this place until later. You can't solve this puzzle until you get the right item. Breath of the Wild is the best Zelda game to date, and it accomplishes that simply by saying yes. You can climb any tree, any cliff, any dungeon wall you see. You're let loose in an open world and issued 4 main objectives, which you can tackle in any order you see fit. Or, if you want, you can just beeline straight for the final boss. You probably lose, but the game won't stop you from trying. It's a good match for anybody who likes games that let you explore and make your own fun, also horse and dog lovers. It's not a good match for anyone who prefers the strict structure of other recent Zelda games. I would recommend doing alternative games. There's Link's Awakening, which is E for everybody, and then there's also Skyward Sword. Next, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It perfects the long-beloved formula for both button-mashing 7-year-olds and the single-minded competitive gamer. It has a really low floor and an extremely high ceiling. It's the old platform fighter we've been obsessed with since 1999, but this time with a huge roster of 76 fighters. Mastering one could eat up a year, but it's more fun to really sample all of them. Smash Ultimate is a museum of Nintendo celebrities, a gaming fandom WrestleMania. Everything is customizable, the rule sets, the fighter balancing, the stage hazards. With all that stuff and so many ways to manipulate it, Smash Ultimate is a crowd pleaser that doesn't discriminate between a middle school birthday party and a stadium full of screaming pros. Smash Bros. Ultimate is a good match for anybody with a competitive bone in their body. People who have at any point loved Nintendo, and anyone who hosts parties or fans of any of the previous Smash games. It's not a good match for people who hate conflict or primarily enjoy gaming alone. However, for those that want to game alone, Hollow Knight is a tiny epic that jams an extraordinary amount of secrets and challenges and rewards into a sprawling subterranean kingdom. It's a little bit of Castlevania and a little bit Metroid, with a very roomy map and remote regions that you can only access after unlocking one of the many character upgrades. It's a little bit Dark Souls with its Forsaken Kingdom, its tough bosses, shortcut-strewn maps, and threat of losing progress upon death. And it shares platforming DNA with games like Ori and the Blind Forest and Super Meat Boy, all wall slides and air dashes. It bakes up those ingredients before frosting on a layer of its own very distinct vibe. And those who choose to brave the buried insect realm of Hollow Nest will be rewarded with one of gaming's greatest splunking expeditions. It's surprisingly challenging, rewarding, and unexpectedly funny. Hollow Knight is absolutely worth your time and works particularly well on the Switch. It's a good match for those who like a challenge. Anyone looking for a deep, rewarding game to really sink their teeth into. It's not a good match for those that are easily frustrated. Hollow Knight can be brutal in an unforgiving game, and it throws players into the deep end early. It contains bosses and platforming challenges that may have you tearing your hair out, but I still love it. This is just where I recommend starting the library at E10+. This is one of the most extensive sections within the rating system, and it really matters on what you and your kids are interested in when it comes down to which games you should get. E10+ is really, really wide and has a lot of different games is what I'm trying to say. I personally started with these games in my library, and I'm adding them in as my kids get older. However, if you're looking for something a bit more challenging or mature for an older kid, don't worry. This video right here is for all the Nintendo Switch games I recommend starting with that are rated T for teen. Yes, they are more complicated. Yes, there's going to be more combat and a little bit more mature themes, but it'll also hold their attention a little bit better. This is Wes from Ridir Gaming, and I'll see you in that next video right here. Do good, play hard, game on, and I'll see you next time.